So the reason why this is controversial is because a lot of people weren't thrilled that this information was presented in an SBS as opposed to, say, the actual series. Oda just revealed Zoro's entire family tree going back to the days of the legendary samurai Ryuma. But he didn't stop there. We also have a massive revelation concerning a certain Tama, a controversial plot twist surrounding Chopper, and by the way, did you know that Pokemon canonically exists in the One Piece world? But this is so huge that it's actually caused a lot of controversy online in regards to why this information isn't in the actual series. So we've got a lot to talk about, and let's get into it. The first item on the old narrative agenda is the rather extensive Zoro family tree. Weirdly enough, Zoro has gone from the Straw Hat whose family we know least about to the one that we know the most about, even more than Sanji. But everything stems from a group of travelers who left Wano 55 years ago, including Shimotsuki Kozaburo, the man who made both Wado and Enma, as well as Shimotsuki Furiko, who is the older sister of Ushimaru, that Zoro lookalike who Yamato met as a child. That's one side of the family tree, but here is the much more interesting side. Shimotsuki Furiko, sister of Ushimaru, partnered up with a villager named Roanoa Pin Zoro, who was a swordsman and is the grandfather of Zoro. Furiko and Pin Zoro had a son which they named Roanoa Arashi, which means storm. And Arashi fell straight into a puddle of love with a bandit's daughter named Terra, with the two of them eventually intercoursing, which resulted in the one and only Roanoa Zoro. Unfortunately, as is often the case in One Piece, Zoro's parents were both victims of sad tragedy. Arashi died at a relatively young age after a battle against pirates, which may retrospectively contribute to why Zoro hated them, their pirates, so much at the beginning of the series. Meanwhile, his mother pulled a banshina and died of an illness, thus leaving Zoro quite thoroughly orphanized. From this, we have three conclusions. Zoro and Kuina are related. Secondly, Zoro is indeed also related to Ushimaru, who is Zoro's great uncle. And thirdly, as a result, Zoro is indeed a descendant of Ryuma, and thus probably has more right to Shisui than he does to Enma. So the reason why this is controversial is because a lot of people weren't thrilled that this information was presented in an SBS as opposed to, say, the actual series. But it made it very clear that he doesn't consider Zoro's lineage all that important, and had outright stated that he probably wasn't going to include it in the manga. And the other thing is that Zoro himself doesn't care about his heritage. He's much more focused on the future of his dream and even achieving Luffy's dream. With someone like Sanji, exploring his family was very important because his character is one big struggle of identity. That's Sanji, and Sanji is not Zoro, and that's not what Zoro is. Zoro is who Zoro is, which is not that. He's not hyper-focused on, oh my god, I'm a Shimotsuki, what does that mean for me, Zoro, and my character? He doesn't care. And even if this was revealed in the manga, it would have led to a lot of complaining regardless.